Hey guys, thank you for being here on my YouTube channel. And if you've been here before, you might be wondering, hey Nick, I didn't know you like sports as well. Well, as a matter of fact, before music, I wanted to be a football player, a hockey player, and a tennis player. None of which quite worked out as well as music did, so it was going to be music for me. But since I love the sports and I still enjoy watching games like tonight, I figured I might as well come on here and give my take on it from time to time. So let's get into it. Nadal versus Novak, the kind of match that fans like us look forward to, and also brings up the big debate on who is the greatest of all time. Right now, really, we have three: Federer, Nadal, Novak. And it's a question that's more than just who has the most wins. Although it's important, it's not the end of it all. If we base it on just Grand Slams, right now Federer has 20. If Nadal wins tonight, he has 22. Not 22, but 22 as in T-O. The problem lies when it comes to head-to-heads, because Nadal has more head-to-head victories over Federer. And so you can argue that if Nadal wins tonight, maybe he's the greatest of all time. Well, then there's another problem because Novak has more head-to-head victories over Nadal, but not as many championships. But it's still a stat higher than Nadal. So to make a decision based on head-to-heads and Grand Slams, for me, it's not conclusive enough. We need something else to really determine, just because these three are so great that their big achievements are too close to call to make a conclusive judgment. We have to look at something else. And for me, that's showmanship. Because when we look at sports like NBA or boxing, we say Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Why do we say that? Is it because of the number of championships he's won? Definitely not, because he's only won 6. There was a guy in the 60s called Bill Russell who won 11 NBA championships, but nobody talks about him as the greatest of all time. And why is that? Everybody says Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time when it comes to boxing. But was he undefeated? No, he lost a few times. Why don't people talk about Floyd Mayweather the same way, when he has been undefeated and he has had the most wins, I think, of all boxers? Yeah. Why don't people say Floyd is the greatest of all time? And I think it comes down to showmanship. And because when people talk about Michael Jordan, they talk about more than just the championships. They talk about how he changed the game. How he was able to dunk the way he did when at the time no one else was seen doing the things he did. How he trash talked people. It's the same thing that Ali did. Ali was not the most technical fighter. He was not the most, if you look statistically and attributes wise, he was not he didn't have all the things that it took to be a great fighter, but he was. His personality came through. He was just entertaining to watch. And that's what people forget about sports, is the thing that drew us into watching sports. We needed to be entertained. Nobody wanted to see who the most technical person was, but we just wanted to be entertained. And that's the thing where people are hesitant to call Floyd Mayweather the great, is because he's just not entertaining. He's a defensive fighter. He's a great defensive fighter, but he's not entertaining to watch. When people watch boxing, we want to see people get knocked out. When we watch basketball, we want to see people dunk. We want to see crazy good dunks, and we want to see people move like we've never seen them move before. And so that's why Jordan was the great as well. And Nadal has that claim because, unlike Federer and Djokovic, he didn't have the same brilliant tennis IQ. You see, if tennis was a school, then Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic would be in the top class. They would be in class A, for example. And Nadal, for me, would have been in class B. Not because, he's not a great player, but just because he doesn't have the same IQ as Novak and Federer. But the problem is, when all of them graduate, they realize that, hey, Nadal's hanging with us as well. He's no longer in Class B. They're no longer separated by the class. He's elevated himself to be able to hang with them just because he's tenacious. He doesn't have that same IQ that Federer, Novak has by, being able to put shots deep in the court and pinpoint accurate all the time, but his strength is his tenacity. It must be so frustrating for people like Federer and Djokovic to, they've got everything. They've got the game plan, and, we're going to hit the balls deep, and we're going to, make it very hard for Nadal to return those shots. But the problem is he keeps coming back and returning those shots, and he doesn't stop until you make a mistake. And that's something we do see in other players. But the only thing is, Nadal has a claim because he's won as many Grand Slam championships as Federer and Djokovic. And that's what's remarkable. Not only does he not have the same IQ, but he has this, that tenacity, that the willpower to go down fighting. And that's a lesson that, a lot of tennis fans resonate with. In life, nothing is ever quite, fair all the time. You don't get to be in the best schools. No one gets all preferential treatment all the time. But if you're tenacious enough, if you're willing to go and run every ball down and, fight till you can't fight no more kind of thing, you just might, be able to hang with Class A. So, and that's the real testament of Rafael Nadal and why I think, he currently has the greatest of all time status. Now, if Djokovic wins tonight and has, a couple more Grand Slams and overtakes Federer and Nadal and maybe has a bit more Roland Garros championships, then we have a different discussion altogether, because then it might come to a point where, hey, you know what, Djokovic really has a big claim, and maybe this argument that I'm bringing about Nadal really doesn't hold much weight anymore. Well, we'll see. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm gonna hold a live stream here on YouTube where I'll give live updates of the match tonight. So come and join me. Let's watch the match together, and it'll be a lot of fun. Meantime, let me know who you think is gonna win tonight in the comments below. Okay, I'll see you guys at 9 p.m. Take care. Bye.